Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming back to the channel. This is Estela with Leonesa Nika, not Lika, but Nika. Good morning to everyone. It is morning for me. My coffee, in pink. Thank you again for coming back. Today is just a blog about Haslam. I discovered a few things that I didn't know about, and one of those would have been so difficult if I hadn't printed the new Haslam foundation and chart from Mrs Depew Vintage that come. So please, people, I kid you not when I say her charts are really clear. Everything you read is really, it prints really nicely. So, shout out to Mrs. Depew. Okay, so I haven't done anything. Everything I said I needed to do, I haven't been able to do. I am prepping to really get into this. On my last attempt on making my foundation, it just went wrong everywhere. Now I understand it. Now I understand why. One of the things was I did not understood that I needed to glue back and front of the chart together so that it would have been an easier step to follow through the instructions that are given as far as drafting your own foundation. So that was my first wrong, and I figured that out, let's say, right after I had done the foundation. I figured that a bunch of things went wrong because of it, because I hadn't glued my chart together. That's the one thing. I do not own an original. I do have a couple people that I need to go back to, because I'm hoping they're still saving the one chart that they were gonna sell to me. But that's a different, subject. But anyway, I do not have an original. I only have the ones that I've purchased as PDF. But so far I'm happy. And I was happy when I ended up gluing my chart, you know, this is what I came up with. This was my first chart, guys, okay? I went ahead and I glued it, and I did all the holes, the punching, and all of that stuff, and I really got into it, okay? Then, if that wasn't enough, I had my husband make me a wooden one, like to cut the wood, and he went ahead and cut the wood, and he sanded this down. He even did the little holes and all of that stuff. Then I went ahead and I recreated what was printed on here and did it on here. Okay, so this is what I had. Little did I know that I had a very small version of the chart. And it wasn't until I printed the one that I purchased from Mrs. Depew Vintage .com that I was able to understand why maybe my foundation wasn't gonna work. So this is what I printed. Look how big this is. This got nothing to do with what I had before, which would be this. Look at that, guys. Let me just put it together so you guys can see what a difference that would have made. Okay, so now I have to go back to Home Depot or the the store where they sell wood and all of that, and have my husband make me a wooden one so I can make it on this size. But ha ha ha, guys, what a surprise I had. This is what I have now. I have not tested it yet. I will soon after I'm done with what I need to do, which is decluttering my room and reorganizing everything. So I might not be able to get anything drafted to show you this year. As you all know, this is September, October, November, December. We have 3 more months left. I am planning on it, but I won't promise anything yet. However, I do promise beginning 2022, if God permits, I will be fully working on this chart. Um, in case that some of you don't know, Mrs. Depew Vintage that in mrsdepewvintage.com site, she is selling the chart. She actually has been selling the chart and the foundation together. That's $10.95, I believe. That's what I paid. But she went ahead and updated the chart as a complete collection from 1920s to 1960s as far as the foundation. There are, I believe, 4 different foundations that people had been asking on the Facebook group, which is the Haslam Sewing Support Group. If you have not yet gone into that group and become a member, I suggest you do. All these ladies in this group are very talented and helpful, and I've been very, blessed to have found that group. That's how I was able to learn about this whole drafting system. And they are truly, patient with you. They will walk you through it if they can. You will also find other YouTubers that are doing a journey on this system. The first one is Joanne Limonova, and the second one would be damn, I should have written all this down. But anyway, please go on the Facebook page, Facebook group, I mean, and for the Haslam Sewing Support Group, and join. You will not regret it. You will learn a lot from this group. There's also another group, and these groups have been created by Mrs. Depew. There's also another group that it's Mrs. Depew Vintage, or Vintage Sewing. I need to look it up, but I will give you more information on the next one. Mornings are usually the time that I can do these videos without so much distraction and noise, but just so that you all know, that group is, what you need. What else was I supposed to say? Okay, so going back to this is what you would get. Mine is in black and white, but you can print it in color, and it's a beautiful print. So in here you will find the instructions that come with every foundation in this collection. Is still the same price, $10.95, which you would be printing the collection of the foundation, and you'll also receive the 6 pages that pertain to this front and back chart. Just so you know, for the front and back chart, the pages printed for the chart, once you print those up and you put them together, you need to glue front and back together. Be very careful when you do that so that everything lines up for you. I used a is it just one board? No, I used 2 project boards that I got from my dollar store, and that's used for, school uses, that those cardboard for school projects. So it's very inexpensive. However, you could use whatever you want, or whatever you feel like you have available to use. Some people actually uses this board and then they go ahead and they cover it with a plastic film on top so that it's waterproof. I'm planning on making this on a different cardboard, and as I said earlier, I'm gonna have my husband copy the shape of it on a piece of plywood, and then remake I'll remake my chart. The chart is really just a French ruler. Really, that's what it's called. But it has a bunch of instructions for you to follow, and then you have to pierce all the little dots in here. Okay, all those dots, you need to pierce them up so that you get to, so that you're able to use it. I haven't done that yet, only because, as I said, I'm going to be having my husband do the wooden one, and once he does that, I prefer him to drill the holes right through this all at once with the wooden one, so this way I don't have to like redo it and mess up with it. But all I can tell you is that I am happy that I was able to print this up. Um, but as I said earlier, my first attempt to this was a big fail. It would have always been failed because I had a very small chart compared to the original, which now I understand why my foundation didn't look right. But I thought, okay, you know, when you're learning and you're doing things that you don't really know about, you just go with it. And that's the beauty about things that you don't know. It's like, okay, um, it doesn't look like I'm gonna fit in it, but you always have the chance that, you know, to alter things. When it comes to sewing, there's no right or wrong. There's always room for fixing, altering, either adding or taking, um, adding or subtracting, I mean. Um, what is it that I'm planning on doing? You know, I see newbies working on this chart on the Facebook group, uh, the Haslam Sewing Support Group. I am so I am so like awed by the fact that wowed, it's the right word. I'm wowed by the fact that I see more sewers trying, you know, applying the Haslam system in, you know, in their sewing journey. And when I see them using this and I see them creating a piece of garment that turns out to be right, it just amazes me. It just gives me more motivation to have to use it. Has this been the only system? No, there are other systems you can use, but this one in particular, I am just curious to try it out and really work with it a good while to see how much I want, you know, how much I can enjoy using it. Um, Especially because it's a vintage system, you know, with vintage fashion. It's amazing how there isn't so much information as far as being, you know, being more detailed as far as following instructions for this drafting system. But I'm assuming it's because back then sewing was more like something that you had to learn as a woman, you know. um, Home economics, you know, like nowadays my children didn't have that as an option for their home economics, only because I guess there are more options or more, their technology is how, you know, it's really what's going on, so sewing is really not considered something that they would need to survive in life. However, it is an art, and it is something that should be learned, that you should, you know, that someone should learn in case that it's needed, you know, such as like alterations on their clothes, like if their pants are too long, you know, they should be able to know how to hem them up, and if something's too big or too small in certain areas of their bodies, because we all may be the, you know, same sizes. You may have a group of 5 ladies that fit the same size, but it doesn't fit the same because different shapes, different proportions, different heights, different weight, etc., etc. or we may just not like it how it fits on us, and we want to like either loosen up or add up or whatever, you know. But anyway, that's a different subject. But coming back to the Haslam system, if you are new to this system, or if you have it sitting on a shelf, you should try it. Don't be afraid. Go with it, you know. Are you gonna make mistakes? I'm assuming you are. I mean, I've done them, and you've seen me on the videos where I'm attempting to do it and I look stupid, but that's how we all look when we're trying to learn something we don't really know nothing about. Um, so go ahead, get it out of the shelf and make it your priority to use it. You know, don't just collect it. Um, Give it a go. I know a lot of people that are sewists or just love um, having vintage items sitting in their shelves, just collecting dust or just for the love of it, you know, and I respect that. I really do. But wouldn't it be better if you were able to use it and be amazed of so many different fashions back in that era, you know? I love the fashion that's going on today, but it's, you know, it's a really young fashion. Um, I'm sorry anyone gets offended by this. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm 48, and when I turned 30, guys, I did not have fashion available to me for my age. And was, you know, is there a fashion age appropriate? Um, I don't know that that's something that it's looked at, or that's something that you know, women would look at today. Only because I don't care wearing a mini skirt to wearing a long skirt, you know what I mean? But I care more on how I feel when I'm wearing something, you know. Whether someone's going to turn their head or not, that's not a concern to me. It's how I feel, how comfortable I want to feel, how classy and sexy I want to look without showing a few rolls that I don't want to show because I'm concerned about my weight or, you know, my fit. Back when I was 30, that was a real big concern for me as far as my weight issue or my body shape. Today, I'm not concerned about that, only because I learned to love myself. So, um, so uh, fashion appropriate for age for some people is a big thing. For me, it's just that I've been putting it up for so long as far as wanting to wear a vintage fashion that I hadn't taken the time to do it. I'm still afraid of trying things, but I have tried things. I have tried, you know, different approaches. One of my last dresses I made was not in a Haslam system, but I did use my twin back here to draft the dress on. It's called a drape. It's a draping drafting where you actually use the dummy or the mannequin um, to draft a pattern on it. But that's a whole different story. Anyway, I've tried that, and that is very easy as well. However, this has me intrigued. This Haslam system has me intrigued. I want to try it. I want to try all the books that come with it, as far as the 40s and the 30s, maybe some 50s. But 50s is really high. I think I I feel very identified with the 30s and the 40s. Some 50s. I'm not gonna say no. Some 50s. But anyway, you know, I'm not gonna say no to anything. Vintage to me is just a beautiful fashion. And when I put on the dresses that I had made vintage, I felt like a queen. I felt very comfortable. I felt very classy and sexy, and that won't change my way of looking at vintage. In the contrary, it has added more um, flags in my head or my brain saying make more, make more. But yeah, guys, I mean, go ahead and get this Haslam system. You can find it on mrsdepewvintage.com. You can find it on Etsy. You can also find some in eBay. I am very happy and content I can get it from mrsdepewvintage.com because I can get 3 books, 3 of the drafting books for $25, because if you buy 3 she gives you a $5 discount on that same purchase. And I heard Little Bird told me there will be another sale coming up in November for Cyber Week, so keep your eyes open for those of you that do like buying these patterns. She also sells vintage patterns and books for drafting. You know, one thing you ought to know is that she drafts these herself. So it is a big job making patterns. It's a big job. It's you know, and grading them as well. That's the other subject I wanted to talk about. Is I was supposed to be taking a class this fall semester, and it was pattern drafting and designing. I will be going to college and getting that class only because I want to be certified in pattern making. I am planning on making my own patterns, and in the future hopefully I can have my own site as well. But for now, I'm happy with Mrs Depew Vintage.com. I'm happy with the Haslam. I'm happy with her other vintage patterns that she makes. So if you are interested in vintage wear, go to that site, join the groups. There are 2 groups. The other one is the vintage sewing. I will put the link down below after I'm done, so you guys can actually have a go about it and check it out. Hello, big hello to Joanne. We're happy to see you back. We're happy to know that you're having a baby soon. I'm very happy myself. So shout out to you. I also want to give a big shout out to Joan Sloan. Vivian Sloan. I have this wrong. I have it written down here somewhere, but okay, it would be, it's the only reason why I'm saying the big shout out is because this lady, she's in the okay, Erin Sloan. She has been the first person to have blogged about the Haslam system, and also she made a step-by-step, and this is what I was using on my video to follow the steps on drafting my pattern, my blog, or my foundation. And her information is very clear and easy to follow. In case you're not understanding the foundation information, hers would be, I will actually put it down on the link below, but it would be the wordpress.com, and it's draftinghaslam.wordpress.com. That's where you would find this information as far as written information. Videos. First person to make a video was Joanne Limonova. So Joanne Limonova, you would want to go to Atelier Limonova, where you would find the first video ever made this year, I believe it was, or last year. Oh, I don't remember, but I think it was this year. Then I follow right behind her. So I guess me and her were like thinking and hadn't done it, and then I went ahead and she kind of like motivated me to start doing these videos about the Haslam the Haslam sisters. Okay, so yeah, it's Atelier Limonova. You'll find her on YouTube. If not, you can find her on the Haslam Sewing support group as well. And then there is another person. Unfortunately, I forgot to write down her name, but she has been the most consistent YouTuber working on YouTube videos and talking about Haslam a lot. So give it a go, you know, give her a go. I will also put the link below for her. I forgot her name, but it's you guys will actually have fun finding all of this. And again, have fun with the Haslam. If you have any questions, put them down below. I will go ahead and start making more videos. So please subscribe, give it a like, and share. And thank you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.